Everybody get up.
Time to talk Florida State football right now on The Mark Moses Show.
Welcome back to the show here on a Thursday. And right now on the Club 52 hotline, I have the perfect man to preview Florida State Notre Dame under the lights Saturday night in Tallahassee. You'll hear him on the radio call, a legend here in the state of Florida. Gene Deckerhoff. Gene, how you doing, man?
Hey, Mark, doing real good. It's beautiful weather in Tallahassee. The weather forecast is going to be ideal for Saturday night, and I just finished doing the scene setter that will begin the broadcast on Saturday, and I'm getting pumped up just doing the scene setter. It goes back to that 1993 Game of the Century thing, and we sort of play off that. But, yeah, FSU Notre Dame, it just doesn't get a whole lot bigger in the Sunshine State, you know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I got to ask you this to start this.
Yeah.
What's going on with Jamies, man? It's like every 3 seconds something off the field. I mean, this guy could be the greatest Florida State quarterback of all time, but every 3 seconds there's some off the field. What's your take on the starting quarterback for the Noles?
Well, my take on the starting quarterback is that number 5 is going to be in the starting lineup, and he's going to try to get Florida State a win over Notre Dame and get us back to number 1. That's the way it's playing out. And, you know, it seems like Jameis has been in the headlines every week, every other week, and the closer you get to another national championship, the more you're going to read about Jamies Winston. It seems to just go with the territory. You know, Hamlet thought he had a rough time, you know, about the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. But Jameis is 20 years old. He's a tremendous athlete. He goes to class at Florida State, and he's made some mistakes. He'll admit it. But Jamies Winston is going to be very proud to be the starting quarterback at Florida State University on Saturday against the 5th-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He'll join Charlie Ward in the record books as a guy that took on Notre Dame, and you know, Charlie lost. He did win a Heisman Trophy. Jameis has won the Heisman Trophy. Let's see if he can do a little better than Charlie did in '93.
You know what's interesting is, you know, I get guys on from all over the country, and they talk about Bryce Petty. They talk about Marcus Mariota. I'm like, look, man, I'm here in the Sunshine State. That number 5 is the best quarterback in the country. What are your thoughts on, you know what, the season he's had on the field this year as the quarterback for the Noles?
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. You can compare player position by position, but every team is going to think, you know, our guy is the best. All I know is that he did something no other quarterback in the history of college football had done. He passed for 40 touchdown passes last year as a freshman. Mm-hmm. Nobody has ever done that, and remarkable. He led an offense that scored more points than any college football team ever. And you know, Florida State runs a traditional pro set type of offense. You don't need to have 4 digits on your scoreboard. It's the kind of offense that Jimbo Fisher coaches, and he's the offensive coordinator. So you don't get as many at bats as some of the guys. I mean, good golly, did you see that score from the Baylor TCU game the other day? My goodness, 70-63 or something like that. But I'm just saying this, that as far as the quarterbacks that I have followed in broadcast games, and including opponents of Florida State University, I have never seen a quarterback with the ability to win football games and to score points than the quarterbacking effort of Jameis Winston a year ago, and he's continuing this year. I mean, sure, we're not scoring as many points this year as we did last year, but that was last year. Jameis Winston is doing his thing. Florida State's scoring on about 80% of its possessions when Jameis Winston is the quarterback, and not many teams can make that claim.
Yeah, it's a good point. We're here on the Club 52 hotline with Gene Deckerhoff, the voice of the Florida State Seminoles. What about Rashad Green? I feel like Winston's getting all the pub, but this guy's an all-timer as well, right, when you look at the wide receiver position?
Yeah, ask that question. Was it Joe Montana or Jerry Rice that made the 49ers the team that they were? You got to have somebody that can catch the football. And the number one responsibility, and Jimbo Fisher said this Wednesday night if fans were listening to his call-in show, and it's something that, you know, you don't really think about, but he says to be a great receiver, you have to be able to get open. open. You could be the fastest receiver on the planet. You could be Usain Bolt. But if you can't get open, if you can't separate from a good defensive back, you're no use to your quarterback. And what Jameis is looking at down there, the reason why he goes to number 80 as often as he does is because number 80, Rashad Green, knows how to get open. And Jimbo, it's incredible. I learn something every week on the Jimbo Fisher College show, and I've been doing this for a while now. And he says he's got that ability to speed up, slow down, wiggle this way, wiggle that way, speed up, slow down, and take advantage of the mistakes that the defensive back covering him makes. And that's why he's open. And that people say, well, Jameis just zeroes in on number 80. No, he doesn't. He's looking for an open man, and it just seems that number 80 seems to get open. So, yeah, Rashad Green's St. Thomas Aquinas High School. He grew up in Albany, Georgia. Remember, he had appendicitis a year before last, just before the season started, and was able to play. He broke Ron Seller's record a week ago with his 213th, and now he's got 215 career catches. He's within 560 yards of reaching the all-time most total yards, and he needs 5 more touchdowns to, he needs 6 more touchdowns to tie or go beyond Peter Warrick in career touchdowns. So, yeah, it's a phenomenal career. And you know one thing? He could probably be playing on Sundays right now, but he elected to come back to school, get his degree. He's quiet. He's not outspoken. But by golly, he's a leader in his quiet way on this football team. And, hey, he's Jameis Winston's favorite target.
Yeah, you got that right. We're here with Gene Deckerhoff talking Florida State football. And I'll tell you, the Syracuse game, look, Carlos Williams couldn't really go. And I love Carlos. He's a great runner. But then you see these other guys, and you're like, wow, they are loaded in the backfield. Did you feel the same way with all these guys for Florida State?
Yeah, you go up to play Syracuse in the Dome on the road. You know they're laying for you because you're the number 1 team in college football. You got that 21-game win streak going. So you're a target for everybody, you know. And you go up there, and the next thing you don't have your number 1 running back. That's Carlos. So you say, okay, well, Mario Pender, he's a sophomore. He's got experience. He scored a touchdown. He's going to be your starter. His first career start. Then he goes down late in the second quarter with an ankle injury, and you go to number 3 running back, and that's Dalvin Cook. And by golly, I don't think Florida State missed a beat there. Thank the offensive line, as Dalvin did, and also God-given ability. Dalvin Cook, 22 carries, 123 yards, 23 carries, 122 yards. Phenomenal performance by a true freshman. And, oh, by the way, Ryan Green is waiting in the wings, and he's a sophomore that had shoulder surgery in the offseason. In fact, missed the spring because of the surgery, has recovered, rehabbed, and is ready to go. And he was waiting. If Dalvin couldn't go in the third and fourth quarter, Ryan Green was ready to go. This week, Mario Pender probably will not play. It'll be a game-time decision. Carlos Williams is back, has practice, will start. And then Dalvin Cook saying, give me a chance, coach, put me in, I'm ready to play. And then Ryan Green will follow him. So, and you know, Florida State resembles Notre Dame in that respect. Notre Dame will run three running backs at you. If you're watching on TV, listen on the radio, they'll put Folston, McDaniel, and Bryant. And by the way, Bryant and Folston they're both Florida kids. Folston not far away from y'all in Cocoa, and Greg Bryant. He's a kid that Florida State recruited as well. He's from Delray Beach, so from your neck of the woods, you're going to see a couple of guys wearing those different colored gold helmets without a spear on the top of them, playing for the Notre Dame Fighter. Yeah, Florida State's blessed to have really, really good running backs.
Gene, you talk about the Notre Dame matchup, and we were talking about this off there. The Golston guy, he's pretty good for Notre Dame as well. What are your thoughts on what the defense needs to do to shut him down and get this W?
Well, here's the deal. You're going to see 2 quarterbacks, Mark. You're going to see 2 quarterbacks that have, between the 2 of them, have tasted defeat just once as a starting quarterback, and never have either one of them lost a regular season game as a starting quarterback. Jamies Winston has won 19 games as a starter. That's every game he started in his career. Everett Golston has won 16 games, lost 1, and the one loss was one he'd like to forget about, was the championship game against Alabama. So in a regular season game, neither one of these quarterbacks has lost a game. And there's something special about that. You put these 2 quarterbacks in front of a national TV audience, national spotlight, Game day is going to be here for the second time this year, college game day for ESPN. It's just it's going to be a treat to watch these two quarterbacks. If you want to look back at the season, J.W. Walsh, quarterback for Oklahoma State, first game of the season in Dallas, reminds me an awful lot of what you see out of Everett Golston. Fast, can make the moves. If he can't find a receiver, he can beat you with his wheels. And then fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, Jacoby Brissett. My goodness, how did he ever get out of Gainesville? That guy just wore out Florida State in the first quarter. And by the time the Seminoles made adjustments, the defense started forcing a little more pressure. We were able to survive a scare in Raleigh, North Carolina, a place that's been a nightmare for Seminole quarterbacks. Yeah. I know a Heisman Trophy winner that lost a game in Raleigh, North Carolina, Chris Winkie, to North Carolina. I digress. But anyway, I move forward. Yeah, a couple of first-round draft picks that lost in Raleigh, North Carolina, Christian Ponder and E.J. Manuel come to mind. But not to be denied, Jamies Winston settled down, got the Noles going, and we contained Jacoby Brissett. But those two quarterbacks, and then Deshaun Watson, the quarterback of that good-looking freshman quarterback at Clemson. Man, you know what? Hey. Another year, you're going to be talking about Deshaun Watson as a potential Heisman Trophy candidate. He's that good as a true freshman. He's hurt. He's going to miss the next 4 or 5 games, but he's the real deal. So we faced 3 really good quarterbacks that could put a lot of pressure on a defense because of the mobility and the ability to throw the football. And so, yeah, Florida State's faced some quarterbacks, but I'll tell you this: everything I've looked at, Everett Golston's right up there with the very best of the best in college football.
We're here at Gene Deckerhoff. I know you're a super busy man. I'm going to end with this, and I appreciate you coming on.
I don't have an NFL game this weekend, so I got plenty of time.
Oh, okay. I want to end with this, man, and maybe that's a good thing, but we can talk about the next
Bucks game this week. We got a bye week,
Okay, good. You need it. Here's the thing.
I'm going camping. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and see if I can catch a fish.
Okay, nice. I talk in front of classes all the time for sports broadcasting, give them advice on how they can further their career. Since you've been doing this for a long time, what's your advice for guys who want to do sports play-by-play or they want to break into the business? What's your advice for them to help them get and be as good as you?
There's about 4 or 5 things, and this is patented. I'll give them to you. And if you're a youngster, you want to get in this business of sports broadcasting or broadcasting and jumbo sports specifically. A couple of things: mind your mother and father. Do well in school. Read as much as you can. Write as frequently as you can, and learn how to do fundamental math. We're talking about a sports which is dominated by statistics. Don't overdo the statistics, but you've got to know that 1 out of 3 is 333, and that'll get you in the Hall of Fame if you're a baseball player. And if you complete 4 out of 6 passes, that's 67%. That's a pretty good pass ratio. And I can't figure out how to do the quarterback ratings efficiency rating, but somebody with more math skills than me. But those are the fundamentals. And if you mind your mom and dad and do what they tell you to do, you're going to be a good citizen. And to be a sports broadcaster, I think you have to be a pretty good citizen. You got to keep a job, you do.
Yeah.
And then if you read, and I'm not talking about just sports, you have to read. And I was blessed to get a good public education. I had teachers that made you read and write and do assignments, and I thoroughly enjoy reading history. I'm trying to learn a foreign language, and remember this: you never stop learning. I'm still trying to do the perfect broadcast. I don't think I ever will. I listen back to every broadcast I have ever done, and most important, time and score. But also, don't make mistakes, don't get lazy, learn how to pronounce names, and I'm still trying to get that perfect broadcast. I never will, but I appreciate folks tuning in and listening.
That's awesome. Great stuff. I appreciate you answering that for me. I know
mind your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Do good in school and read as much as you can.
Yeah, and I want you, and real quick, my buddy Eric at work is the biggest Florida State fan ever. So every 3 minutes he goes, when are you getting Gene back on the show? So thank you for coming on today, man.
Hey, Eric, we're up here in Tallahassee, Florida. I know Melbourne's a beautiful place to be, but the last 2 days have been just blessed with beautiful weather, and the forecast is for the same all the way through the weekend. Temperature will be in the 60s, maybe dip into the 50s before it's over. Starry night, Doak Campbell Stadium, Bobby Bowden Field will be lit up. Tell Eric that's the only place to be next to heaven this Saturday night, okay?
Gene Deckerhoff, voice of the Noles. Good luck on the call, man. I hope you get that.
All right, big guy. Mark, good talking to you. Go Noles.